might be hungry after all that games.
No, I can't really blame him, honestly. It's absolutely insane. Need one for...
Call it.
Xlord requires his yogurt. Somebody sort him out with a spoon, damn it. He'll play with one hand. He'll be okay.
Xlord being a little bit of a troll there. He should just use his fingers.
Yeah, I can see that. DreamHack will be really happy about that. It's just, you go over there, there's yogurt all over the screen in the player area. It is yogurt, folks, nothing else. Xlord in the red trunks. He is spawning to the southeast of this particular map. It's Tal'Dorei Malta, and he's playing Zerg versus his opponent, the one and only Happy. He is in the blue trunks, and he is playing Terran.
Absolutely, and I think I know what Happy is going to be doing. Probably just gonna be adding gas now, which he does, and will add a reactor to his barracks after he builds a factory and goes for very quick Hellion play into a forcing span.
Excellent. I'm glad you knew that because I absolutely did not. I haven't seen Happy play ever, I don't think.
Oh, you have not? How can you miss him? He has so many games.
I tend to cast tournaments that just he's not in. That's, I think, the main problem.
Maybe he doesn't like you.
That would be sad.
He would have no reason for that, because you're quite a great guy.
I think there's only one pro that I don't really get along with, and that's on the internet, so I don't know. We'll see. Whatever the case, Happy with a initial Marine right here, and as you said before, he'll probably go for that reactor play. He does have the gas for it. He can follow it up after that Marine, and then the quick swap around for some Hellion aggression. Now, you say that as if that's a really common thing for Happy. So I have to say, does Xlord also know that?
He should know it, because Happy never ever deviates his play. He always does the same thing over and over again, which is probably his biggest weakness.
Xlord, what are you up to with the sneaky action right here? There's a bit of scouting going on right now. Still no reactor, but he's got the factory coming down. He can certainly go into it right now. And 44 gas, 48 gas, and reactor. There you go. Magical.
Yeah, not so hard to call it, because as I said, he probably did it in the last 500 TVCs he played.
Well, at least we know what he's going to do, folks. That's almost the MC level of commentary that happened last night, where he predicted Hux build about 10 minutes before it actually happened.
That's what we do. It's our job, man.
It's a bit terrifying. Absolutely. Pros have such an amazing insight on this particular game, which is why we love them, folks. That and the fact that they play games for us.
I wish I could. I really miss it. Right now, not being able to play here at DreamHack, only having to be commentating with you instead. What a pity.
It's a poor substitute, and I'm very sorry about that. But yeah, got to rest those arms. Carpal tunnel, folks, you must watch out for that. Please go and read up on it. I've got a bit of it myself, and I'm trying my best to deal with it. And actually, the recommendation that I got from my doctor was to purchase a Powerball. To increase wrist strength.
Yeah, yep. That's a pretty good thing. I actually ended up being in the Wikipedia article of carpal tunnel now. I'm being mentioned as a notable characters who have carpal tunnel.
There you go, folks. So watch out for carpal tunnel, read up on the symptoms of carpal tunnel, and it is, the damage is certainly reversible. You've got to be careful, though. You don't want to go on too far, because it can become tendinitis, which is really unpleasant. Yeah, you don't want that. Xlord, in the meantime, with a couple of spine crawlers coming up to try and defend against this Hellion opening. Now, he's only opening up with 2 right there, and he's going to expand behind this, and he's surely not going to do all that much damage with it.
No, he will just be poking and going to be denying creep spread for a little bit. Obviously, Xlord knew what is going to be coming, having a great defense, and Happy doing a huge mistake, retreating his Hellions and not being able to block that creep spread from him to come out.
That's unfortunate. It really, really is. Xlord with the infamous Zergling wall-off, which is not all that common, but against Hellions it makes perfect sense. People thinking, oh well, Hellions so great against Zerglings. Yes, if they are in a line facing the actual flamethrower attack. If they're in a line so that he's only hitting one at a time, they're actually pretty rubbish.
Absolutely. Speedlings on creep are actually one of the best counters against Hellions, as crazy as it sounds.
It really comes down to the surround, honestly. The Zergling surround is perfect against it, simply because they space themselves out in such a way that the flamethrower attack, it's got a reasonable forward range on it, but it's got a very narrow cone of fire. So in reality, it doesn't do all that well against units that are properly spaced out. It does great against people that run all their drones away in a nice little conga line.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's delicious. I'm actually salivating thinking about that right now. Drone kebabs.
It's a tasty thing to think about as a Terran player.
Yes, was no question about that. Xlord going up to layer tech right now as his defense is looking pretty good. The economy's it's in favor of Xlord for the time being. That will, of course, change once Happy is able to saturate this particular mineral field, however.
Happy doing a huge mistake. While you were talking about the economy, he lost 3 of his Hellions without doing any damage, really.
Well, there you go. That is unfortunate. How on earth did he manage to do that one? Obviously, he got surrounded by the Zerglings there and needs to leap for that Hellion immediately. And as you said before, a bit of sloppy micro.
Definitely, just being a little bit too slow. He was waiting in front of his base, wanted to deny a little bit of creep spread and didn't get out early enough.
Redeploying the Spine Crawler all the way to the back of the base, perhaps to protect against drop play and maybe do a little bit of damage to anything that passes by. And he doesn't need those frontal Spine Crawlers anymore since his opponent has decided he's going to switch around. And here come the tanks for his opponent. And we do have a starport coming up and now complete for Happy as well.
Definitely, and Happy losing the 4th Hellion, trying to deny the 3rd base, but Happy being very smart, put his Xlord into the extractor while the Zerglings took care of the Hellion, and now being able to just put it down a little bit today.
Not going to complain too much about that one. And the extractor coming up for Xlord here as well, currently on 4 gas. He does have 6 available to him. We're seeing the Mutalisk count starting to increase, or at least it will once the Spire comes up. And we do have a Baneling nest on the way for Xlord as well. And as you said, that 3rd base, very useful. Always wants to stay 1 step ahead of his opponent in that regard.
Absolutely, Zerg always wants to have 1 more base than your opponent at least. You're always going to be behind if you just stay on the equal amount of bases mining.
The way it works, folks. Happy with a single Marine right there, and he should be able to deny the scouting of that force, so that's quite nice play there by him. A few siege tanks pushing forward, and the Spine Crawler is quite nicely positioned. We'll see whether it might actually get a shot off. Happy's going dangerously close to that cliff face. Yes, there we go. And that is just some absolutely fantastic play there by Xlord. He's forced to deployment as well, which is perhaps not what he wanted. And now the Zergling's looking for the surround. However, will he be able to take the tanks out? He's looking to do some good damage, but he can't quite do it. Happy's able to hold on to that, and the Banelings didn't get anywhere near. And now, with an elevation drop right here from Happy, and denying that entire mineral line.
6 Mutas and 22 Zerglings coming out now. Happy needs to be careful not to be losing all his Marines against Zerglings, because then his tanks are going to be vulnerable to a Muta attack.
Looking likely, and the Mutalisks are on the way, but it's not going to be here before that Hatchery goes down by the looks of it, unless, of course, Happy decides to pull back, which is exactly what he's doing right now. He could have finished this off. Will the Mutas be able to pick up the tanks before that Hatchery goes down? It's not going to happen, or will it? He's redirected his fire right now, and down it goes finally, before the Mutas are able to deny that.
Beautiful micro by Happy there. The forces are going to be taken out now, but he denied a Hatchery, killed a lot of drones, killed a lot of Zerglings, and some Mutas at least, so looking strong for Happy now.
Without question. We are looking at 47 drones right now. He's transferred them all to his 3rd, which makes sense. He will be able to rebuild there, but it's not ideal under any stretch of the imagination. And the momentum of the game firmly in favor of Happy right now. And Happy even manages to evacuate a tank, which is impressive play, dipping and dodging and diving away from those Mutalisks. And right now, the Mutalisk count really isn't a massive threat. It needs to be a bit higher in order to really cause Happy any problems.
Definitely. As soon as you hit like 10 Mutas, it gets really dangerous. Happy now adding 2 engineering base, going for massive upgrades, and he's gonna have turrets quite soon. I don't see Mutas doing a lot of damage now.
Not really. He's going to need way more than that to make that happen. And to be honest, it doesn't look like he's all that interested in a mass Mutalisk count just yet. He needs to rebuild that base. He's got to get that sorted out. And bear in mind that the Xlord is actually now only on 3 gas, simply because this 3rd base right here does only have 1 Vespene Geyser.
Absolutely. However, I think it is actually a rich geyser.
Is there such a thing as a rich geyser?
Yeah.
I wasn't even aware of that. I did not know it. Are you
No, okay, on Telewomen's it's not a rich geyser, but on Kuras, we were talking about it yesterday, you do have a rich geyser.
You have a rich geyser, yeah.
Yeah,
there you go. I did not know that. It's useful information to have. Xlord going in, he did try to deny the command center. We didn't have enough Mutalisks right now. A quick stint there by Happy, not able to catch up to Xlord. The Mutas are the hell out of there for the time being. 4th base on the way up for Xlord as well.
Definitely nice play by both players. Happy, however, being scarily close to the supply of Xlord. You never want to have that happen as a Zerg player.
No, you do not. Army has a superior army. What the hell am I talking about? Happy has a superior army size right now, 45 to 30, and work supply count in favor of Xlord. Doesn't always tell the whole story. As you can see, it's 61 drones to 51 SCV. Queens are counted in there for some inexplicable reason, which is actually kind of annoying in that visual display that we can bring up there. But
oh, it does?
yeah, if you can see it right there, the worker supply, the little bars that we can bring up, it actually does count that the queens in there as well, which
makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, it does a little bit, but it does confuse people. But there you go, whatever the case, Happy is pushing forward. He's able to pick up the Overlord. We've got some speeding Zerglings and speed Banelings, in fact, coming in. The detonation goes off, but it only takes off a single tank, so that is not ideal at all. He was going for the Marines, he didn't quite get there.
Definitely not having enough creep spread there to connect with the Banelings. And now Happy being in a strong position, but he needs to siege up before Mutas and Zerglings are going to connect with his army. Else he's going to be in trouble.
Happy pushing forward. It's looking like an aggressive, very, very aggressive push. Mutas are coming in from behind. He looks for the attack on the siege tanks, but there's no way that Happy's going to allow that to happen. He needs those siege tanks in order to stop those Banelings from out to Xlord. Taking a good fire right now. The Mutas are coming in. He should be able to take one tank. He looks for the second one, and down that one goes. But does he have enough? He does not. He lost all of his Zerglings and Banelings in the process, and as a result, those Marines continue to live.
Beautiful Marines split by Happy. Not losing anything really against the Banelings, but his tanks and some Marines defending against the Mutas, but he will be taking out the Hatchery while losing all his units, but it's not a big deal for Terran as he's reinforcing his army in the meantime.
Yeah, he won't have a problem with that. You know, the main priority is to stop Xlord from getting a massive economic advantage and drawing this game out longer than it needs to be. Happy sitting now on 3 bases and is looking pretty good in that regard. Planetary Fortress up there, difficult to harass. Primarily Zerglings and Banelings coming out on the field for Xlord. He's sitting on 63 right now, although he has very few upgrades. In fact, he's got none for the Zerglings at all.
There's a 2-2 upgrade coming out for Happy, and as soon as that finishes, Zerglings are going to be almost useless.
Yeah, he's already got the Marine shield, needless to say, and with 2 armor, those Zerglings are going to be doing barely any damage. I suppose he's relying on the Banelings to deal with that. But think about it, they're only going to be hitting for 3. That's not so great for Xlord at all.
However, we do have burrowed Banelings. Happy does throw down the scan, so that is not going to be a problem for him at all.
Happy with fantastic game awareness right there, being very, very cautious. You've seen better players fall into that trap.
Maybe a little bit of a lucky shot, but you never know what is going on in the mind of a player at the moment when he's playing.
Nope. The point is that he got it. You know, we can second guess him all you like, but it doesn't matter. He got it, and the end result is all that really matters.
That is a very true statement.
Xlord looking to try and flank his way around Happy's force. They're just sitting right now on the Zelnaga Tower. He's got himself a good amount of map control for the moment. Mutalisks swarming in, however, they will be eliminated incredibly rapidly. And of course, once that +2 weapon upgrade comes in for the Marines, that's going to be absolutely brutal.
Happy just going to be waiting for stores and upgrades to finish to just move in. Beautiful lineup of upgrades, actually. His +1 vehicle upgrade is so close to finish to his Marine upgrades. Giving him a perfect timing attack.
That is a timing attack for the ages. You are not kidding. Look at the Terran infantry weapon level upgrades coming in right here. They will be done the next 30 seconds. We've got +1 right here, which will help out those stores and, of course, the tanks quite nicely. Xlord's army supply count is below Happy's, which is not the situation you want to be in at all. He is trying to flank around with the Zergling force, looking for a bit of harassment right here. The thing is, he can't really make his way into anything that matters. This area is already covered in creep, so no expansion coming up for Happy on that area yet.
Happy being extremely careful, not exactly being decisive about what he wants to do with his army at this spot.
Happy pushing forward. He's going to try and clear up those Zerglings. I think a little bit of overkill right there by Happy, pushing his entire force back just to deal with this. Scanning for forward Banelings, doesn't find anything. And we'll be looking for an expansion on this area fairly soon from Happy, I would think.
A little bit of a drop, which failed in the main of Xlord. 8 Marines being taken out by everything, but no big deal anyways.
Again, Happy pushing forward and looking to try and take the ground. MYM Xlord is way behind. We're looking at 80 army supply to 114. Happy with a heavy, and I do mean a heavy upgrade advantage. And this is going to prove extremely problematic. He does at least have +1 on those Mutalisks, but these Zerglings are in a terrible state. Only +1 and no ground carapace as of yet. And we've got level 3 infantry level upgrade coming in for Happy right now.
Once again, we do have some burrowed Banelings by Xlord, but they seem to be out of position. And once again, we do have a scan by Happy, and I think he might spot it.
Looks like he will. And here comes the main engagement. And we see Banelings, in fact, crashing into the front line of the siege tank. Most of the damage being taken on the siege tanks, however, and the Marines stay alive, so it wasn't such a great engagement at all for him. However, in the meantime, Xlord is taking out that fourth base as Happy continues to push in and try and do as much damage as possible. Looks like this is going to be a base trade right here, as Happy with a quick bit of drop action going on, trying to take out the Queens, doing some damage and reinforcing from the back. That 4 was incredibly badly damaged. It'll go down any moment.
And he is preparing to pound down on that third base as well, but there is a massive force by Xlord coming in, and I think he should be able to deny that attack quite easily.
Yeah, he flattens the Thors. He has a huge Mutalisk count and no problems whatsoever. He does need to eliminate those tanks immediately. And actually some indecision there by Xlord, which I feel lost him a few more mutants than was necessary.
Absolutely, if he would just have kept engaging, he could have taken that out easily, and now he's actually in danger of almost losing the hatchery.
Very close to going down, and he's able to clean it up, but as I said, that lost him a bunch of Mutalisks because he flew away, decided it wasn't a good idea, and then flew back. So it was unnecessary losses there by Xlord.
Always a bad decision to fly away and come back, as Marines do have a higher range than Mutalisks, giving them a lot of free hits.
Right now we see level 3 infantry upgrade coming in, almost complete right now for Happy. Now Happy is not behind in bases anymore since he was able to take that one out, and this hatchery is so close to dying. A quick drop could easily eliminate it, and Happy has a drop prepared, but it's not quite good enough, and Xlord cleaning up nicely with bare minimum damage being taken.
A lot of units coming out for Happy. Finally a Baneling mine actually connects with an army.
We can see that the Zergling count for Xlord is getting increasingly large. He's actually also researching adrenal glands, which would have to be combined really with more upgrades. If the +3 armor upgrade comes up for Happy, then regardless of how fast those attack, it's not going to make a huge difference.
No, they're just going to be like nibbling away on Marines, just being more of an inch.
Yeah, it's not quite good enough. Eventually they'll make their way through there, but it takes a while, so that's not so great. Needs to look for melee attack level 2. Needed it ages ago, really.
If he doesn't change his upgrade, he's almost going to be taking 30 hits for circling into one Marine, which is crazy.
That's absurd. That's ridiculous. Few Banelings moving in. They will crash into the planetary fortress. I would imagine that a couple of them will be denied, however, before they even get there. So that's 3, 2, and 1 detonation that takes out a couple of SCVs, but not exactly a major piece of harassment there by Xlord.
Definitely not. He should have been spreading them out a little bit more, and Happy once again moving out.
In the meantime, we see Xlord streaming around, trying to deal once again with his 4th base. This time it's Planetary Fortress, however, so this is going to be a bit messy, and Happy also moving in with those reinforcements. And as I said, the Zerglings are going to do no damage. That building has 3 armor.
Indeed, and upgrades are still lagging for Xlord. He's finally getting to Kratos Fire now. It's giving him some kind of means to deal with Happy's army, but will they be in time to actually deal damage?
That's questionable. Happy streaming forward with an army supply gun of 100 versus 59 right here. Xlord will try and delay him as much as possible, but any kind of attack he goes for will almost certainly be suicidal until Happy's able to get anything, well, until his opponent Xlord anyway is able to get a good force up. Right now, the Greater Spire is on its way, and really I think the priority for Xlord right now is to hold on as long as possible until he can get the Brood Lords out.
Definitely Happy being in a great position once again, being off creep, and now Xlord knows he has to do something, else he's just gonna lose his 4th base once again.
3 Brood Lords on the way, and now for those Thors and the tanks ripping through Xlord incredibly fast. 122 army supply to 52 in favor of Happy right now. A lot of Thors on the field, a lot of tanks, 5 Thors, 9 tanks at that base. No, no, it's just not going to happen. He's not going to be able to defend that. He has to sacrifice it. He must wait. He's getting Infestors, he's getting Brood Lords. He needs his count up as high as possible.
But we do have so high upgrades on Marines that they actually can deal with Brood Lords quite easily on their own, even without Vikings.
The risk, of course, being that if the Marines decide to charge in, they could get fungal growth landed on them. And I would imagine that's what Xlord is hoping for. He's got 6 Infestors on the way. Good positioning right there by Xlord, actually taking advantage of the terrain. And those Marines cannot, under any circumstances, attack the Brood Lord while they're sitting there. So it's relying entirely on the Thors. Thors don't do a huge amount of damage to Brood Lords. You can see a bit of a Baneling detonation going on right there. Efficient play here by Xlord. He has to play this smart. Really, this is going to be a hard defense, though.
And as we were saying earlier, that Hatchery was severely damaged, so it took Xlord Happy only like 2 seconds to take it out. Xlord really being on one mining base now, and there's not much he can do from this point anymore.
He doesn't have an awful lot of energy, but he does have a few infestors with at least enough for one fungal growth. He's able to repulse it simply because of the way that he's used the terrain. It's a genius move, positioning those broodlords over this inaccessible terrain right here.
But will it help him in the long run? Only mining on one base against Happy, who is trying to take his 5th base, even now, getting +3 armor upgrades and +3 vehicle upgrades now. Looking really great for Happy, and Xlord being in a really desperate spot.
Xlord was able to pursue those fours and take them all out. He actually destroyed Happy's fours entirely there. It's a great defense, but as you said, it's going to be very difficult to come back from. He really is lacking in terms of his resources. Actually, long-distance mining right here.
And there's a second force already ready for Happy, which is basically strong enough to take out Xlord already. Happy just being really careful, securing his 5th base, knowing he doesn't have to risk anything at this point.
No, he really doesn't. He has such a large economic advantage that dealing with that's going to be tricky. And there we go, Xlord trying to deny an expansion just for a few more seconds. But Xlord has to expand and get back in the fight. It's going to be very hard to do it. It really, really is. Xlord relying on these broodlords. Unfortunately, he's rolling around with these broodlords at the front. It's a little bit risky. Has to be careful about the positioning. And Vikings now on the field for Happy.
Viking is going to be taking out broodlords quite easily. There are only 4 investors, and I doubt they're going to be even close enough to reach Vikings and Fungal.
It'll be difficult, certainly with the tanks around. It's going to be incredibly hard for that to happen. Broodlord's already taking mass ground fire, and even though fours don't do a huge amount of damage to broodlords, they're still +2 upgrade, and they're going to be +3 very, very shortly. Broodlord's taking huge fire. The Corruptor's trying to deal with those Vikings. Takes down one. There's another one at the back. There's a big fungal at the front right there. However, Xlord is being forced into a fighting retreat right here. There's barely any energy left. He's got enough for maybe one good fungal, and he lands it, takes out one tank. A little bit more damage, but still the broodlords have been annihilated, and that really was perhaps the last hope for Xlord. GG, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. A very, very lengthy game there on the Tal'Darim altar. The first game in this Best of 3 series taken there by